Hi, and welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of the gear cleanse, following on from the one we did previously. So in the first, we spoke about just some general all-round rules that I use to apply to whenever I'm going through this gear. And obviously we picked the cursed set, which has been tidied up and is left how it is here. Today I wanted to move on to a set that perhaps more people are going to have, especially sort of early mid game, and something that's beneficial all the way through until very, very late game. And that is going to be the speed set. I don't have a whole lot of speed gear. I got rid of most of it a little while ago, but I think there's enough here to apply the same sort of logic, the same sort of process to hopefully trimming this down a little bit more. I'm obviously not going to delete stuff just for the sake of deleting it, but let's just apply some of what we used yesterday and see if we can put it here. So again, I'm always going to ask myself the same question. Who is going to be using the speed set? Why are they going to be using the speed set? So I think literally most builds in this game are going to require some speed, because ultimately the more speed you've got, the more you're going to go, the more damage you're going to do, the more utility you're going to provide for your team. And at least for me personally, I see speed as more of a utility than I do a means of gaining massive damage. I mean, it is only a 2-piece. So, if I click here on equipped, now I've got a lot of speed gear spread through my account. It's probably one of the most used on my account. I can't really think of anyone it wouldn't go on unless you were very, very intentionally building someone to be extremely slow. I think the only time we might encounter that is for maybe some sort of stone skin build, or perhaps even a bit of a cheese strategy build for something like the Scarab boss, where you can rely on a champion that just gets hit a lot and puts out debuffs and survives, rather than taking turns to survive. So what do I look for in a speed set? Like with a lot of the early game sets, the proof is in the name. I want speed. I can't really see any benefit to holding on to speed gear that hasn't really got speed on it. We could still apply the same exception to the rule as we did yesterday. We can keep a really good piece, even if it's just a good piece. But I tend to, nowadays we have other sets that do the same thing. So obviously a 2-piece speed set here is 12% speed. Off the top of my head, I want to say we've got divine speed, which is essentially just a boosted version of speed. I think you can only get this set from finishing your arena tier every week. And I find more often than not it chucks out 5-star pieces, even if you're finishing in gold 5 every week, which is a bit of a shame. But as you can see here, you do occasionally get some 6, although I am starting to think that these came from one of the Titan events that was done quite recently, or Path of Light, one of the flipping the card style events that I think was where I blew all my silver, because I think it involved upgrading artifacts, and it was a lot. The other one, Perception, I guess it only gives you 5% speed, but it's still a good boost. And then the other speed boosts are actually now not hidden, but are a part of these continuous piece sets. There is a word for it. I can't think of what they're called. But there's 12% speed there, same there, and then 8% there. I don't think Stone Skin's got that. No, Stone Skin doesn't have it. But obviously, as part of a Forge Pass, they introduced Righteous, 10% speed with 40 resist. Supersonic is kind of all about speed. but more to do with boosting speed. And does Merciless have speed? Merciless got a little bit of speed. Yeah. So I find speed to be one of the easier ones to go through because I'm very strict with this. If you haven't got speed and you're not just like a brilliant roll, you're going in the bin, and I'm going to take silver for it instead. So in the aim of trying to keep this video a little shorter than the last one, I'm just going to get straight into it, and we're just going to go in with the weapons. Right off the bat, obviously you can see we've got a nice 6-star mythical. As I said yesterday, it's very easy to get almost sentimentally or emotionally attached to gear just because of its rank and rarity. But at the end of the day, if it's not a good bit of gear, it's not a good bit of gear. There is that sort of old British phrase that you can't polish a turd, even though you can roll it in glitter. You know, if it's not a good bit of gear, it's got to go. So what have we got here? We've got a speed set piece in mythical with no speed. The combination of substats aren't really... I mean, the attack is really kind of letting this down. The lack of speed is letting it down. I'm going to roll it to a maximum of 8. I would love to see more rolls into HP, or a quad roll in either attack or resistance, or a triple or a quad. But I can kind of assume this is going to be a sell. I'm not going to waste too much silver doing this. No, we got flat HP. I'm not going to keep rolling this. I kind of already decided that it's going to get deleted. So I know it's a shame because, I mean, how often do you get those? But if it's no good, it's no good. Here we go. We've got no speed, but we have got a triple crit rate. Following the rule that I applied to everything, it's a keep. 25% crit is a big chunk in any build. It has also got crit damage. I guess obviously those two work quite well together. As for the resistance and HP, I would prefer they weren't there, but for the sake of being a triple, it's a good number. It's a good piece of gear. We are going to keep it. Got another triple, another triple crit rate here, but this time it's got speed and HP. And obviously the attack as well. Again, it's a good bit of gear. I can't really see any reason to throw that away. Okay, this is another good bit of gear. We've got double speed. Obviously, who wouldn't want to see triple rolls? But resistance and speed, great for a lot of champions. Accuracy and speed, even with a little bit of attack, it's a good bit of gear. Something as soon as you roll that up, all of a sudden you're looking at possibly up to 20 speed. It's fine. That's worth a keep. Into the 5 stars. Here we go. So for me, the way I'm looking at this is it's a double roll attack, a double roll crit rate. I'm going to come back to it, but I think this is going to get deleted. I can't see a case where I'm going to use that. I want double attack on sets that are focused on attack. So that's probably going to go in the bin. As for this one, single speed. Obviously, I've glyphed it, which makes this a little bit more appealing. I think this is quite an old piece of gear from my account. I don't see any reason to bin it. It can stay. Hopefully, at some point, we'll get a nice 6-star that can beat that out a little bit. And then we've got this one. Double speed on a speed piece. Again, it's a little bit damage focused, but I don't see anything wrong with it. So it's actually this mythical item here that's going to be the one we get rid of. Onto the helms. It's got speed. It's not great. You know, again, wouldn't we all want to see a bit more speed on there? The other stats here at the top, they pair quite nicely. It's a keep for now, but once again, as soon as something better comes along, it's going to be gone. I think the key to gear cleansing is to know your own account. I know what I'm looking for in my account, and a lot of the champions that I want to be going fast, I've already got up at about 280 to 300 speed. My next step is I want to push them to 310, 320. And unfortunately, you're just not going to do that with single rolls. So I really should probably be more strict with this and focus on some triple rolls. However, like I mentioned in the previous video, the Cursed City is what's preventing me from hitting the end game at the moment, and in order to get there I'm going to need to build some champions. So bits of gear like this, it's going to come in handy. So it's a keep for now. Onto here. Double resistance, double defense with attack and HP. It's just, no. I'm not saying it's a bad bit of gear, but it's not a great bit of gear. So this one here, I'm going to get rid of that. The stats are really nice. But again, where am I going to put them? This is just going to sit here until I've completely run out of space. So this is a sell for me. Triple resistance. As per my rule, I'm going to keep it. It's got 3 stats that pair quite nicely with resistance that don't care about the crit damage. But 44 resistance, that's fine. That for now is a keep. Triple speed. There's no question, it's just a keep. That's great. Onto this one. So again, it's a sort of damage focus piece. If I want to do damage, I'm going to use a damage set. This is going to be a sell for me. And as I keep saying, this is just for my account. This is, I know what I'm looking for, and it's not that. For some people, that could be the best bit of gear. And that's just kind of how Raid goes. So onto this one. What have we got? There's 3 stats on there that I like. That's the speed, resistance, and the accuracy. I'm going to just roll it up in increments of 4. If I get to 12 and I haven't hit a double speed, it's a sell. Resistance. Attack. No, it's not going to happen. I already wanted at least one of those rolls into speed. So that is going to be a sell. On to the shields. Double speed. Double flat HP really isn't great. But I guess it has got the HP there to back it up. This is something that a glyph would make better. It's not my favourite piece, but it will do. It's going to stay for now. Triple speed. At this point, I'm not even looking at the other stats. Triple speed, great, perfect. That's a keep. Something like this. Double resistance, double HP, no rolls into speed. No, I'm here to be harsh. That's going to have to be a sell. Like I said before, when you click all of these and it all starts adding up. This silver amount is just more valuable to me than bags full of gear that I'm never going to use. So here, I did that one. Yep, did that one double speed. Yep, that's a keep. Triple defense. Fine with very defensive and tanky sort of based rolls. That to me is a really good bit of gear. I'd have loved to have seen 1 into speed, but that's going to get used. It's a good bit of gear. We keep it. Double speed, HP resistant HP. Again, good rolls. I can't see a reason that I'm not going to use this piece at some point. So onto the 5 stars where we can be a little bit more harsh. We've got a double speed. Looking at how many shields we've already got. Plus I am on a bit of a mission to get rid of all the 5-star gear from my account. I'm going to keep it for one purpose, and that is going to be for Cursed City. I'm going to find a... In fact, let's do it now. What have we got? Let's pick on a stage that has kind of held me up. Say this one. Looking at what champs we've got available. Skull Crusher, that's it. I know that I haven't got either of these built. You know, instant piece of gear could go on one of those. It's going to be the same over here. Jizo's popped up again. Maybe he should have it. I am going to try and focus on gearing up my awakened champs, because obviously they're going to be getting the most stat. This guy can Grave Dirt, that's it. 5-star on him. 5-star on Jizo. So yeah, that's why I'm going to keep pieces like these 5 stars, because I think any of what I just showed you could probably benefit from those. Onto the gloves. I only have one pair of gloves in speed, and it is defense. Nice, with speed, HP, and resistance. Fine. The ascension is useless. I probably won't bother spending to re-roll it, but also it's my only speed gloves that aren't being used. It's a keep. Onto the chests. Defense with speed, crit damage, and attack, and that is not a very good pairing of stats. If I have another speed set chest with defense, I will probably favor that. We do. The substats match up better. Yes, it's lacking in speed, but it synergizes better with the speed set itself here. So I am going to be harsh, and I am deleting. You know, I'm not going to get this number up here down to 600 by keeping mediocre gear. So onto the last one. We've got 5-star, HP percent with no speed. It's a sell. Onto the boots. They're okay. Slightly better. Yep. I don't think any of those 4 are particularly brilliant boots. I tend to keep boots in speed just because, and I might actually at some point do a dedicated video, or even if it's off camera, going through all of my boots and really thinning them out, because I've got 213 and so I've got 174 pairs of boots with speed as the main stat. I probably don't need 174 pairs. I don't have 174 champions to build. So I'm going to kind of be a little bit more lenient with them for the purpose of this video. But I think I will separately go through, and I think the same could be said for all of this bottom row. Maybe once we've got this number down to around about 800 or so, maybe that's when we can really start clicking on these and going through and fine-tuning a little bit what we are keeping. Let's look at the... So where did we go? We got double crit rate is okay. Double attack with accuracy and crit damage. Again, it's all of this is just okay. Double crit rate, attack, defense, accuracy, defense with the attack. Double HP percentage is nice with the resistance, but the attack rolls aren't very good. So what have we got here? HP and crit rate. What do I want? Kind of want the HP. We'll upgrade it. I'm not... A double in either would be good. But like with all blues, rare gear, it will really depend on how this third roll comes out. The level 12 roll. Take it to 4. It's okay, we got crit rate. I'd like to see another crit rate roll. Yep. And what is the 12 stat? Crit damage. Okay. it's a good synergy of stats. I'm not going to roll it to 16. That can be for another day. But they're decent. They're okay. And yeah, we've done those. So the 5-star double flat defense with attack, that's a sell. It just doesn't line up. They can go. So that is speed thinned out nicely. Just for the purpose of not keeping this too long, I'm just going to minimize this all down and focus on this page of gear here. We can look at life. Why do I have a life set? I don't think anyone uses life set after probably a few months of playing the game. If I'm not mistaken, these are a triple or a quad roll in something. Yeah, quad roll attack with speed and crit rate. It's a good piece of gear. That's a lot of attack. So there's no reason to bin that. What's in defense? I'm going to guess speed boots. Yeah, with a double crit rate and defense. See, we just got that in the speed set. We got some double crit rate. We got it there. Not in those ones. We got it there as well. I have no reason to keep this. So that is going to be sold. Moving down to critical rate. What have we got? Okay, so I don't know what the terminology for this is, but kind of single roll across the board, stats, bits of gear. It would really come down to how good a bit of gear it is, and 11 speed with 11% crit rate, 12%. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great. If I want to do damage with crit rate as a set bonus, I'm going to actually be looking at, where are you? Of course I can't find it. Lethal. 10% crit rate, plus it ignores 25% of enemy defense. 12% crit rate with mediocre-ish kind of stats. It's a sell. Onto the mythical, like this, where you get one roll in each. Now, mythical maybe breaks that rule because you will always have a double roll. 20% crit rate with defense and accuracy. It's not a bad piece of gear. It's not great, but it's good. I'm feeling the sentimental attachment to mythicals here because obviously we really don't get many of them. I also want to be able to create a set. So on any of these sets which have a 2-piece, I like to at least keep 2. We'll see how we go through with the rest of it. So onto the chests. Attack percentage with crit rate and crit damage is pretty good. I'm going to keep it. I think I explained in the previous video that while I'm very capable of building good HP nukers, good defense nukers, I am struggling to bring up attack percentage nukers. I just cannot get those good rolls in the damage-based sets. So I'm going to keep that because my account kind of needs it. If you're someone that's kind of gone the other way and you've got more attack gear than you know what to do with, then maybe it's not fantastic. But I think that's a good piece. We're going to keep it. Right off the bat, the attack is letting that down. Defense-based chest. At this point, I'm not looking at it as part of the set. I am looking at this as just a standalone defense percentage chest piece of gear. Most of my defensive-based champions need accuracy. I'm thinking of someone like Scylla the Drakes. She can put a stun out. She needs speed. She, resistance would never hurt. Anything to prevent her from being CC'd to stop her doing her job is good. I will keep it until we go through possibly say the final video where we really start honing in on these bottom ones. It's a keep for now, but I'm not overly impressed with this piece. Okay, onto the boots. It's only a 5-star speed, but it does have a triple roll of crit damage. I am gonna keep that, I think. Yep, that is for keep. Onto accuracy. Now this set, if you ask me, is now pretty useless because there is a set that does exactly the same thing but better, and that is perception. 40 accuracy plus 5% speed on perception versus 40 accuracy. So we're going to be really harsh with this. I'm kind of only here for triple and quad rolls now. So what have we got? Double speed, double accuracy. It's no good. Double speed, single accuracy, no. Single speed, no triples. Nope. And obviously I'm being intentionally harsh here because I'm going to gain this back by focusing on perception gear. So top rows, I'm never going to use them. So they are just gone. Just sort of jumping back to what I said about building champs for the Cursed City. I have to farm accuracy gear if I want it. And I don't want to farm it. I think it comes from Dragon. Either Dragon or... Let's go with Dragon. I'm not entirely sure. Or I could just craft perception gear. I'd much rather craft. Defense percent gloves, single speed, defense, resistance, accuracy. They're not brilliant, really. That's a sell for me. The mythical. Now resistance. If I'm building a champion with high resist, I don't really want that. We're not talking a damage dealer. We're talking a team support. Someone that I don't want to get debuffed. Someone that I want to regain control in a fight. And they are the champions that you want to be building with resistance, HP, defense. And this isn't really cutting it. So that's a sell. Accuracy chest with double speed. I've got better. This is a sell for me. So we're actually going to get rid of all of the accuracy gear. Lifesteal. It definitely has a place. I do believe there might be 1 or 2 champions still in my roster that use lifesteal, but they're more champions that are exploiting mechanics where they heal others based on their own heals. The immediate one that jumps up to me is it Nia? Yeah. I haven't got her built in that at the moment, in her lifesteal at the moment. I think as part of her passive, whenever she's healed, heals each ally except for her for 20% of that heal. If, and I'm not saying you would, but if you did build her to do a bit of damage, but she does have AoE. She's only got a single attack that's AoE. If you could pump that up and do a bit of damage, she would be providing a bit of team utility. But you, like with all things in Raid, you reach a point and your champion roster gets kind of sufficient enough that you don't really need to rely on healing yourself through the damage you're doing. You can rely on another champion in your team to do the healing, or you can look into something like a regeneration set, which is just going to heal you 15% every time anyway. So lifesteal. Cursed City maybe might have had a bit of a comeback. For these sort of legacy sets, I would, if I'm going to keep any of it, I'd like to just keep the mythicals and the legendaries and just get rid of the epics. But as I always say, a good bit of gear is a good bit of gear. We're not going to write it off just for the set. So for this one, we're going to look at this as, is it a good bit of gear? I'm not going to be using a 4-piece lifesteal, I really don't think, on anyone. So let's just judge this by how it presents. So off the bat, that's a triple speed. That's a keep. Anything triple speed, I'm pretty much going to keep no matter what set it's in. Triple crit rate. Yeah, it's a good bit of gear. The substats don't really match up. You know, if you're running triple crit rate, you want to see you want to see crit damage, and then one of your either attack, defense, or HP stats. Yeah, it's not great, but it'll do. It's an offset piece. Like I say, we're not looking at it as a 4 set. On to the next. Double speed with attack and crit damage. No, that's not quite meeting the standard. This is kind of the same piece as what we just had. Bin. All of these, obviously with the exception of Cursed, Regeneration, so Relentless and Savage, most of these sort of legacy sets, I'm happy to just sort of bin them off almost without even looking at what's in them, but this is more to do with process rather than just cutting it out for the sake of it. Onto the helms. That's not a very good bit of gear. The stats kind of synergize all right, but that's a no. That's going to be a sell. Triple crit damage with attack and speed. That's much better. This epic head here is better than this mythical. So the mythical can go. Onto this one. Double defense with crit rate. No. Triples. I want to see triples here. Double speed. Double crit. No. Triple crit rate with speed and accuracy. Yes. So we're going to get rid of this piece here. Double crit rate, crit damage, speed, defense. This is the sort of item that this is just a good example of stats synergizing well. That's a good bit of gear. It's not going to be used for me, so it's going to be deleted, but that is a good bit of gear. There's nothing wrong with that. It just would have been nicer if it was in a Savage set. But Raid and Hindsight and Grass is Greener Syndrome is just kind of part and parcel of playing the game. Nope. Double crit rate's nice. No speed roll. No good. Onto the bottom row. Crit rate gloves. No. There's nothing in there that really benefits that, so that's a sell. Again, nope. If that had hit a double speed, maybe, but you know. No, it's for the bin. Onto the chest. Accuracy. I'd have kept it if it had any kind of double or triple in speed, but it didn't, so this is going to be another sell. I'm going to only assume that the boots are speed. Yep. Double defense, crit rate, resistance, so far so good, but attack percentage kind of ruined it. I'm here to min-max my gear, not waste that. So that's going to be a sell for me. And this is kind of the same story. Double defense with a single roll into attack. It's a sell. We've got to be harsh if we want to bring this number down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Fury and Daze and just stop it there because it's the same process for every time. This set, I know it has kind of fallen in and out of trend. You could argue that if you're using an unkillable team, so not a block damage team, but an unkillable team where your champions can sit at 1 HP protected, they are going to be getting a benefit from this. But I have nowhere in the game where I would be using this, so I'm going to be particularly harsh when I'm going through this. If it hasn't got a triple or a quad, it's going in the bin. What have we got? Triple speed, winning. That's why I've kept this. Let's keep that. That's a good bit of gear. Triple crit rate. Yep. I feel like I might have done this process with this Fury set before. Quadruple defense. Yeah, okay, this is why I still have this gear. we'll go through the rolled ones first, and then we'll come back to the gloves. Accuracy with triple crit damage. Now that's not a fantastic synergy. I can't really think of many that I'm going to be wanting to belt out masses of crit damage with accuracy, but it's good. It's my rule. If it's a triple, I'm going to keep it. It can go in the pile for when we come back later and do a real cleanse amidst these bottom row items. Onto the boots. Speed with triple resistance. I like resistance. It seems to be falling slightly out of favor in arena these days, because most people are just protected by stone skin anyway. It seems to be a bit of a trend at the moment that people are building their DPS in a 4-piece stone skin and a 4-piece savage or lethal or something. So if I want to protect my DPS, I'm gonna probably not go about it with something like this. But it's the rules. Triples, we're going to keep it. It goes in the pile for being refined later. And here, triples, it's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, okay, that's a keep. So we'll just see what we've got here. We've got an HP percent with speed. This is what I like to see. I don't hate the crit rate. Obviously, there's other things I'd like to see in its place. Defense percentage would have been nice, but let's upgrade this and see how we do. What am I looking for? At least a double speed. Or obviously a triple in any of the other stats, but let's see how kind it is to us. Got speed. No. Take it to 12, but no. That's a sell. The only reason I would roll that up right now is because there is an artifact enhancement on. And I'm just trying to double dip with the points. On today's, now if I'm not mistaken, I think these gloves are the fastest gloves I've got on my account. Yeah. Quad speed roll with terrible substats for the main, but a quad roll speed is a quad roll speed. That could do with glyphing. It seems like almost like a waste. I think there's actually a daily quest today to use 3 glyphs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just not use something that rare. We'll tap this twice to see if we can get better. 1, nope. No, okay, we're not going to waste another one. But that is good. Good, we're going to keep that. And onto this. HP percent gloves, lovely. With defense, great. With double speed, brilliant. But crit damage and attack, no good. It's going in the maybe later. So yeah, that's the kind of top row done. Obviously we did curse before. In the next video, I'm going to look at probably some of the more utility style sets. We're going to look at regeneration. I think there's a Fire Knight tournament on at the moment with regeneration. Let me check. On the Drop Fever. Yep. It's only a 2x chance. But I do need to do some farming for that, so I won't sell anything until we do the gear cleanse. Obviously Savage, part of Fire Knight, Stun. Yeah, we'll come back to some of the, what I, at least in my opinion, are the better sets. Possibly a little bit more complicated to build. But we've done a chunk and we haven't really got rid of a lot yet. I already know that most of the bulk of my gear is currently sat in Perception. I've got a lot of Perception gear we need to go through. And I would think, you know, Protection, I haven't gone through that. Same with Stone Skin. I've got a lot of Stone Skin gear I've just never gone through. I think the same is true with some of the Forge Pass sets. Got a lot of those. And then obviously Supersonic, Merciless, and Slayer I haven't really gone through yet. So that's where I'm going to leave this one. Sorry for making it another long video. There doesn't appear to be a way of doing this quickly. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.